Good morning, students. In today's video, we are going to discuss some very important questions of chapter biodiversity and its conservation. So, today we are going to discuss about very short answer type questions. Students, though these questions are having only 1 marks, it is, and you have to write answer in only one word or one sentence. But still, if I will feel I have to explain anything, I will explain. But while you are writing in your copy, you have to write only in your answer either in one word or in one sentence. So I am going to start my first question. First question is, India has more than 50,000 strains of rice. Mention the level of biodiversity it represents. So students, the answer the answer will be genetic biodiversity. But I want to explain that the biodiversity can occur in three different level: genetic level, species level, or ecological level. So here we are observing there are 50,000 strains of rice. Means I have to say that we are discussing about the 50,000 varieties of the rice, and varieties may be different of a there may be a different types of variety of a single species. So here we can see that the varieties means different varieties of a single species means the different members of a single species having variation in their genetic level. So here we will discuss, or here the answer will be the genetic biodiversity. Now the second question is, why is genetic variation important in plant Rolfia vomitoria? It's a very important question. This question is most frequently asked in the board examination. Why genetic variation is very much important in Rolfia plant? So here I am giving you answer. Genetic variation is important as it affects the production of the drug Rasperine in medicinal plant Rolfia. So I have to say that if the variation will occur, so Rolfia plant, which is also known as a medicinal plant, it will produce different varieties of a kind of drug which is called as which is called as reserpine, and it's used in medical industries. So if we have different varieties or we have variation in the Rolfia plant, so we will opt a different kind of plants which will produce a huge amount of reserpine. Third question is, write the level of biodiversity represented by main group. Give another example falling in the same level. So here the question is asking that which level of biodiversity will we find in main group. So as I mentioned earlier that there are three different levels or three different types of biodiversity is there: genetic level of biodiversity, species level of biodiversity, and the third one is ecological level of biodiversity. Here we are observing that main groups are representing a particular habitat. ठीक है, तो we can say that it is representing a particular ecosystem. So here the biodiversity will be of ecological level, and the question is also asking about the various other examples. So we can say that desert have their own biodiversity, tropical rainforest have their own biodiversity, temperate regions have their own biodiversity. So these are some other examples of different ecological levels of biodiversity. Now if you will observe question number 4, in question number 4 there is a pie chart, and in that particular pie chart some labeling is done, and you have to identify out of some labeling out of each. So here the question is, identify A and B in the figure given below representing the proportionate number of the major vertebrate taxa. This pie chart is basically from NCERT book, and while I was explaining the topic I already told you that you must have to remember about the area covered by a particular group of animals in that particular pie chart. As we know that fishes are in the greatest amount, so here we have to find out A and B. So as we know that vertebrates are of five different types: fishes, mammals, birds, reptiles, and amphibians. So um, two are missing. First one is mammal is missing from here, and the second was amphibians is missing from here in the vertebrate category. And you are observing A and B both are occupying almost same area in this pie chart, and as we know that their percentage is also equal while we are studying the number of the species of the vertebrates. So A is mammal and B is amphibians here. Now similar question is question number 5. Name the unlabeled areas A and B of the pie chart representing the biodiversity of the vertebrates, showing the proportionate number of the species of major taxa. Here the hint is given in the previous question. So definitely you can write that the larger portion which is not labeled here, so it is fishes, and then mammals. After mammals, the next is bird after bird the number next is reptiles. A is mammals, A is, sorry, here A is bird, and B is reptiles, and amphibians is given here, so there is no need of explanation in this question. Directly you have to write what is A and what is B. So A is here A is birds and B is reptiles. Now the sixth question you have to write the expanded form of IUCN. Actually student, I want to tell you that IUCN is a international organization which is concerned with the conservation of biodiversity. So here you have to write only the full form of IUCN. So the right answer will be International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. So here I stands for international, U stands for union, for C stands for conservation, N stands for nature and natural resources. Now the next question is, what is red data book? This is very common term, and it is mostly frequent in the examination too, that what is red data book. So I want to tell you that red data book is actually red data book, I have to say that red data book is a compilation of data or records of the species which are threatened in the risk of the extinction, as well as we can consider them as endangered. So I mean to say that red data book is a kind of collection, or it's a kind of compilation, or it's a kind of record of those species which are very much in threat of becoming extinct, as well as it also maintains the record of the endangered species of animals and birds, animals and plants. Now the eighth question, I'm coming to the eighth question. The Amazon rainforest is referred as the lungs of the planet. Mention any one human activity which causes loss of the biodiversity in this region. Students, as I mentioned in my earlier videos too, the Amazon rainforest are very important for this biodiversity, or for this ecosystem, for our environment. Why? Because Amazon rainforest are covering almost 14% area of the covered land, and it has a great variety of biodiversity, and mostly the green vegetation is present there, and this vegetation is very important for the purification of the air, because these plants are involved in the photosynthesis process, and they are consuming carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and purifying air by releasing a huge amount of the oxygen in the environment. And but here the question asks that which kind of human activities are causing the loss of the biodiversity. But here you might be confused, because I told you some regions of biodiversity loss, like habitat loss, like fragmentation of the habitat, co-extinction. I told you a lot of about the biodiversity loss, but here you have to write about the human activities, which human activities are causing biodiversity loss. So instead of those above which I mentioned earlier, you have to write the activities which are causing biodiversity loss, or defragmentation or habitat loss in the Amazon rainforest. So first reason is there, I am going to tell you that, because the people who are living in that particular area are going for deforestation, or I have to say that they are cutting many of the plants for the cultivation of soya bean. Means for cultivation of the soya bean in that particular land, they are going to cut down the trees. And the second reason is that most of the peoples are cutting trees in that particular area to grow grasslands, because they are cultivating various types of cattle for the beef. So they require some grass for it them, so they are going to go convert these forests into grassland for cultivation of cattle for the demand of beef. So these are the two reasons. Out of these two reasons, you can write any one to answer this question. Now the question number ninth, what do you mean by the term alien species? Okay students, I want to tell you that alien species is a species, or a or I have to say that it's a species of a plant or an animal or microorganism that is transported and established into a new area beyond its natural range. Means if we are putting or we are taking out one species from a certain area and we are cultivating it into a completely new area, means which is not native for it. Okay, so we can say that that species which is going to be taken out from a area, from a particular area, and transported to another area and then cultivated there. Now this species can be considered as a alien species, and I want to tell you a few of the examples, like water hyacinth is a alien species, or African cuttlefish which is transported from Africa to India is also the example of the alien species. Now here the last question, question number 10. Give the names of some invasive species in India. Students, I want to tell you that invasive species are those species which are taken out or transported from somewhere else, and then they are grown into another areas. So and while they are grown into the another areas, they are getting favorable condition for their growth, and they are producing a huge mass of them. Then these are called as invasive alien species. And I want to give you few of the examples which are invasive in India, like water hyacinth, terror of Bengal, is an invasive species. Similarly, the cuttlefish, African cuttlefish, which was initially cultivated in the Africa, then they were transported from Africa to India and cultured here. Now they are growing in such a pattern that they are causing threat for the indigenous species of the catfish of India. Similarly, lantana grass or carrot grass, these are some other examples of invasive species in India. So that's today I am concluding myself along with these 10 questions. So I hope so you understood the answers, and try to write in your copy. And still, if you are feeling any difficulty, please ask. Thank you.